I actually planned to record this video a little bit earlier in the day. Right now, as I'm standing here in the walk-in closet of our apartment, it is 1:28 a.m. in the morning, Saturday, August 8th, Pacific Standard Time. And I'm glad I put this video off because, man, if I made this video a little bit earlier, it would be inaccurate. So, today what we're doing is we're going over the Alexis Lafreniere sweepstakes and the 7 out of 8 teams that have been revealed as to being able to get a chance at the one and only Rimouski Oceanic Star. Now, I kind of want to go in chronological order because this is kind of the first video that we've talked about Lafreniere this entire time, at least in terms of the actual play-in series teams and not the teams that we spoke about previously, like Detroit, like Ottawa, like LA, the eliminated teams per se. But just to catch you up to speed, Alexis Lafreniere is the projected first overall pick at the 2020 NHL Entry Draft. He's a guy who's supposed to become a franchise-defining talent, an immediate power-forward, two-way, playmaking left-wing player who can absolutely dazzle and just play hockey the right way. He's expected to being able to make the league in his debut as an 18-year-old next season, and get a pretty high amount of points doing so. So, with the hype levels as high as the next potential Austin Matthews or maybe a Jack Hughes, better than a Jack Hughes in my opinion personally, there certainly is a reason to see why this player is valued. And the team that's going to take him is an unidentified play-in series loser. A play-in series loser pick ended up winning the first overall pick at the 2020 NHL Draft Lottery, and they announced that they will be doing a second draft lottery, which is going to be on Monday. We're going to stream that, by the way. Not the actual process, the Sportsnet program itself, but we'll have ourselves a little watch party once that day comes. But they're going to do another draft lottery to decide which pick belonging to the 8 eliminated play-in series teams is going to win. Now, in our video previously talking about Lafreniere and the play-in teams, we spoke about tanking and how some teams may quote-unquote want to tank for Lafreniere. The one that came to mind immediately was Montreal, because there was the whole, okay, he's a French kid, Montreal's a French place, they haven't been too great this season, who knows if they're going to beat the Penguins, there's no way they do. Spoiler alert, they ended up doing it, but that was kind of why we talked about the Lafreniere thing. We noted in that video that every single pick belonging to play-in series teams would have been able to go back to those play-in series teams had they lost. Because almost all the picks belonging to these play-in series teams had some sort of clause that said, okay, if the pick is in the top 10, then it goes back to the original team. Or if the team doesn't make the playoffs, then the pick comes back to that team. That's what Vancouver had with their pick with the New Jersey Devils. That's what the Toronto Maple Leafs had with their top 10 protected pick and the Carolina Hurricanes. That's what other teams had with top 3 protection. Oh, if it's in the top 3, then they keep it. So, virtually every single team in the play-in series had an opportunity at Lafreniere had they lost their play-in series, but these are the teams that actually have that chance and that have actually lost. First up, it is the New York Rangers, who got swept by the Carolina Hurricanes. Oh my goodness, New York, you guys were supposed to go on a run, but they didn't end up doing that. They ended up getting swept. They're going to be getting themselves the opportunity, a 1-8 opportunity. It's going to be crazy if they win Lafreniere, because Lafreniere, Zibanejad, Kakko is so good. You can have Panarin on your second line if you want, because a setup like that is absolutely gnarly. And the Rangers already won a draft lottery last year. They weren't second last in the league last year. They jumped up, and that's crazy to see that they can actually have a really good opportunity here to get another pick. It's kind of crazy because they have a higher chance at getting first overall this year than their chances at getting second overall last year. But even though they do have a higher chance, their chance is equal amongst everybody else. That includes other teams like the Florida Panthers, who got eliminated by the New York Islanders after battling themselves back in Game 3, trying to even up the series. They ended up getting lost in Game 4 earlier today. That was a 5-1 win for New York, and it was a crazy game for Bobrovsky. The guy just let in goals left and right. Obviously, you don't want to blame everything on your goalie, but at the same time, I did say that, I did think that the Islanders were going to win that series. Our last series in the East that has so far been confirmed is the Montreal Canadiens and Pittsburgh Penguins series. Oh man, the Montreal Canadiens defeated Pittsburgh and Sidney Crosby on his gosh darn birthday. And now they have a 1-in-8 opportunity at getting Lafreniere. Look at this. This is the Rimouski Oceanic Twitter page, and they posted a tweet joking about being the quote-unquote official supplier of players to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Because if you know your history, 15 years ago, there was a kid named Sidney Crosby playing out of Rimouski. He was pretty good, and through a somewhat questionable draft lottery process, that kid ended up going to Pittsburgh. So, who knows? If you want to rig it, you want to give Pittsburgh another generational, I'm not going to say generational for Lafreniere, but a franchise-defining talent, then NHL, be my guest. You have the opportunity to do so here, as the Penguins do have a 1-in-8 opportunity to win Lafreniere. Talking about the teams that we don't want to win, because Pittsburgh is one of those teams that I do not want to win. I made a video about that earlier in the year, one that I didn't actually think had any substance because there was no reality in my mind that said that the Habs could actually win, even though I'm a Habs fan. Let's move over onto the West. In the West, we had ourselves the Edmonton Oilers and the Blackhawks. And I made a video about this too, how either of these two teams are going to have a 1-in-8 shot at Lafreniere if they lose, which is inevitable because they're playing each other. And my goodness, the top-seeded Edmonton Oilers ended up losing. Wow. Nice job, Chicago. Who would have thought that the two best teams in the play-in series would both get eliminated 3-1 by the two worst teams in the entire return-to-play format in Chicago and Montreal, respectively. But the Edmonton Oilers lost, meaning that they have a 1-in-8 shot. And I don't know if I would like to see Lafreniere, McDavid, and Draisaitl all on one team. Not to mention the Nuge. Not to mention the history with Taylor Hall and Yakupov as well. Oh boy. This is gonna get ugly, isn't it? But aside from that, we had ourselves a few other series as well. The Coyotes ended up defeating the Predators 3-1. That was crazy. Now, we don't really have that funny Taylor Hall story to go with because Taylor Hall plays for the Coyotes. Taylor Hall has been a part of a team that's won, 5 first overall draft picks. Obviously, there was himself with the Oilers. That doesn't count, so we're not going to count that. Then while he was with the Oilers, they won Yakupov, Nugent-Hopkins, McDavid, that's 3. Then he went over to New Jersey, then they won Nico Hischier and Jack Hughes, that's 5. So that's going to be broken here because the Coyotes actually won, and instead it's the Nashville Predators that are actually going to have a chance to get Lafreniere. And honestly, out of all the teams we've spoken about so far, the two that I think really kind of deserve him the most, it's Florida, and I guess I would say Nashville too. Nashville's an aging team. They don't really have too deep of a U24 core. I mean, Eeli Tolvanen is supposed to have some potential going forward into the future. I've always been a big fan of Dante Fabro, but at the same time, the Predators are kind of weak when it comes to their young guys, so having a youthful injection in Alexis Lafreniere could certainly be nice. As for Florida, they could honestly use quite a lot more star power. I know they have Barkov, I know they have Huberdeau, I know they had some good goal scorers, but this team has not gotten over that hump. So if a Lafreniere can come in and help them out, then hey, that'd be pretty cool. As for the Wild, who got eliminated by the Vancouver Canucks earlier today, I wouldn't mind Lafreniere going to the Wild either. They got some really good prospects. The best KHL NHL affiliated prospect in Kirill Kaprizov. The best QMJHL affiliated prospect in Alexander Hovanov. The best WHL NHL affiliated prospect in Adam Beckman. They had some really good guys. But with the Zuccarello contract, that's really going to hurt them. Mikko Koivu retiring, and a frustrating loss to the Canucks in the play-in series. I honestly wouldn't be too upset if they got him. Honestly, I wouldn't be upset at all, in my opinion. And then finally, we have the Flames and the Jets, whose series was somewhat indignant because the Flames ended up taking out a whole bunch of Jets players early on. The Jets have their first-round pick. They have a 1-in-8 shot at Laf. Just like the New York Rangers situation with Capo Caco, the Jets also won themselves a draft lottery to get themselves a top 2 pick and select a Finn. That was Patrick Laine back in 2016. Now, would I be upset if they got Lafreniere? Somewhat. They've got some really good players, really good guys who can still help them forward into the future. I don't really think they're a team that honestly deserves a Lafreniere because there are so many other teams that could use him more. But, of course, these are just the teams that are able to get him, and they're all going to have an equal shot. Not to mention, Toronto, Columbus, these two are fighting it out right now. The winner goes into the playoffs. The loser enters this bowl. If Toronto loses, we will literally have a 37.5% chance at Lafreniere going to either Toronto, Edmonton, or Pittsburgh. And I don't like that. I don't like it one bit. At the same time, if Columbus comes in, I'd be okay with him going to Columbus. They lost out on all their good players last year, and they still found a way to make the play-in series. So if they're able to get Lafreniere, then hey man, congrats to you. Pop off, Columbus. I hope you enjoy your Alexis Lafreniere. But that has been our quick update on the Lafreniere sweepstakes, going over the 7 out of the 8 teams that have already been confirmed to getting one of those spots. And we'll see the draft lottery come out on Monday, and we will finally get our conclusion as to who's going to have that revered first overall pick at the 2020 NHL Entry Draft. So, tell me what you think about this topic in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.